Hello everyone. Recently I made a list of the 8 fastest drag cars in the game BeamNG. The rules for this test were pretty simple. All the cars had to have a full body, including fenders, doors and windows, hood and trunk, front and rear bumpers, and a driver's seat. Oh, and one more thing. No mods allowed. BeamNG is a great physics simulator, and the drag strip is a great place to experiment with that. It's a quarter-mile test of mind and machine against an unforgiving racetrack where tiny setup changes can make big differences in a vehicle's performance. And to get the most out of it requires a good understanding and some outside-the-box thinking. And over the course of hours of testing each of these vehicles, I did learn quite a bit. The fastest car on this list is the Scintilla, which ran a blistering 6.541 at over 231 miles per hour. Given the fact that it has 300 to 400 horsepower on the next closest car on the list and weighs 700 to 800 pounds lighter as well, that's no real surprise. Since I learned something new with just about every car I used, I wondered how much performance I may have left on the table with some of the cars I tested early in the series. And that brings us back to our number 2 car on the list, this 2000 horsepower Bruckell Moonhawk, which had previously run a best of 7.229 at over 192 miles per hour. This time around, I was going to take everything I had learned testing at least 6 or 7 other cars since I had last driven this and see if I could put another car into the 6-second zone along with this Scintilla. Failing that, the racing itself today should at least be pretty close and fun because my opponent will be driving this, a heavily modded version of the Moonhawk, capable of easy 6s even in the hands of the AI, and detuned just enough to provide some great side-by-side racing today. The first order of business was to get serious about the diet we failed so horribly at the first time, because the default drag version of the Moonhawk didn't have front and back bumpers like was set out in the rules. It was the only car on this list to actually gain weight. For the first run this time, I removed the detective roof light, rear spoiler, wheelie bars, roll cage, and fit lighter Chevette rear rims. I'll show you the numbers at the end of this video, but all this removed close to 200 pounds from the car. Right off the trailer, the Moonhawk runs a new best 7.108 at over 196 miles per hour. The now lighter Moonhawk, while quicker, doesn't quite launch as hard as before, so for the next pass I ditched the 10-inch rear slicks for the 12s, again on the lightest rim available for the size, and send it again. It hooked up nice that time, and improves to a 707 at over 196 miles per hour. Next I went looking for power. I learned on other cars that you could use a smaller supercharger and more nitrous to make more horsepower less destructively. So I do that here and find 50 more usable horsepower. And a new best of 7.011 at almost 198 miles per hour. With the 6-second zone so close I can taste it, I looked for any bit of additional weight I could possibly lose within the rules and find 1 more pound when I switched to a slightly shorter front tire. There were slightly lighter rim choices for the fronts, but those came with wider rubber and more rolling friction, so I stuck with these. That tiny bit of weight loss brings another tiny improvement, and the Moonhawk runs a 7.009 at 197 miles per hour, just 1/100th of a second short of the 6-second pass. With the smaller front wheels comes a lower front ride height. And the lower the front ride height is, the less weight transfer you get to the rear wheels, meaning less traction off the starting line. For the next pass, I raised the front spring height a little to compensate for that, and send it again, tasting that first 6. It gets plenty of weight transfer this time and runs a new best 7.001. Getting slightly frustrated after some testing with the clocks off, I discovered that with a higher rear gear ratio, the engine would take just a little bit more nitrous, and that I hoped would be all I would need. And there it is, busting into the 6s with a 6.953 at more than 198 miles per hour with the Bruckell Moonhawk. I'm very happy with that run. While I've shown you only a small handful of runs here today, I've probably made somewhere between 50 and 100 runs with this car just to get it to this point. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you like this, hitting that thumbs up will go a long way to helping support and grow this channel. If you'd like more, don't forget to subscribe, and let me know in the comments if any of you have tried something like this and how it went. Thanks again. See you next time.